you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today I am lugging around one massive sack when we get dressed to kill with my latest TennoGen haul. Holy fuck boys, there are so many things to cover in this round of TennoGen releases, it's absolutely insane. Syandanas, helmets, and so many skins that it kinda hurts. At least my wallet's gonna be walking funny for the next few days. However, with this many releases, I do have to drop the disclaimer yet again. As you all know, I have a very specific aesthetic, and I tend to be quite picky when it comes to customization. So first and foremost, don't think that I forgot anything, and also don't be offended if I don't spotlight something that you personally enjoy. The whole theory behind Dress to Kill is about loving what you are wearing, regardless of what anyone else thinks. So in that vein, respect my right to like certain things and not others. Alrighty, let's jump in and start with something easy like syandanas, all of which are $5.99 American buckarooskis. So my favorite of the bunch is also the most temperamental. The Teplo Syandana by Chevron Helmet is this heavily layered distressed scarf that is accented with the most ingenious integration of energy that I've seen thus far. And while I do love it, I must say that the way its color selectors are laid out makes it a bit rough to use with other armor sets. If you make the armor look right, the Syandana all of a sudden looks crazy and vice versa. However, this is definitely a must-have for those frames you've decided to go a bit simpler on. Next up is the Marlika Syandana by LED 2012. Now, I honestly only picked this up because I really think that there are some people out there that are going to absolutely love this one, and I tried desperately to convince myself that I would be one of them. The design is solid, the color selectors are well placed, and proportionally it sits quite well on some of the larger frames. However, I personally ended up feeling like it's a bit too much, but I have seen all of the tweets that you have sent my way, and I damn well know that some of you like too much. So this one goes out to y'all. Moving along, we've got a really interesting one with Faven_PS's Disconnect Syandana, which adopts the Grenier styling of his Graxx skins. Now, I actually picked up the whole collection, so far be it for me to skip out on this one. Per usual, Faven has stepped outside of the box and absolutely killed it using multiple textures, interlaced wires, and a really awesome sparking energy effect. I'm gonna cut my gushing short right here because he's got a whole chunk of this review dedicated to him. So the last thing I wanted to feature in this section is not a Syandana. The Scythen Jetpack is the second in Master Noob's line of hover accessories. Honestly, while I do like this almost Orokin-inspired design far better than I did his Grenier one, I only really bought it to use with Athena's noble stands. I know it's cheesy, but I'm kind of really digging it. Moving along to helmets, there were a lot of surprising new additions in this batch, all of which are $5.99. Now, starting off with our sad little flightless bird Zephyr, she got the Masigi helmet, which is another submission by Chevron Helmet. This one definitely gives me a tribal headdress looking vibe, but somehow manages to integrate friggin' jet propulsion. What? I love the energy effects, I love the subtle addition of the moving feathers, and I love how the design adopts the Zephyr's original aesthetic, which, mind you, is one of the most and arguably over-complex designs in-game. While this isn't going to convince me to swap over from Hitsusan Tagamuro, for those of you who are a fan of the classic rendition, this will be a great pickup. Alrighty, so the Mirage Jolie helmet by Cheshire is another one of those, I think the community in general will like it, but I'm not 100% sold on it, but I'm gonna buy it anyway to see if it grows on me. Now personally I like it, but I almost feel as if the helmet is a bit too literal with its teensy tiny balls. Now don't get me wrong, the texture work is solid, the small details are all on point, the theme is great for Mirage. However, it just didn't happen to resonate with me. But with that said, I can spot a hit when I see it, and I think that a ton of Mirage players are going to fall in love with this one. Okay, so rounding out this batch, Reiku literally hit us with a 1-2 punch. First starting off with the Chaperon helmet for Vauban. Thank dear sweet Jesus, because the poor man has not had a helmet that hasn't made him look like some form of circus clown for so long. He desperately needed this, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. It also pairs quite nicely with the Porta armor set to the point that you could make it work with the Prime version as well. It just comes down to the triangle to circle ratio and what you're comfortable with. Speaking of primes, when I saw the Loki Erstaz helmet, my initial reaction was, that's nice, but it's never gonna see the light of day. It won't work with the Loki Knave, and it's definitely not replacing its Prime helmet. Now, while I can confirm that I'm not a fan of combining it with the Knave skin, holy fuck is it definitely a solid swap for the Loki Prime helmet. While it's nowhere near as goldified as the rest of the outfit, it does a great job mimicking the shape and movement of the rest of the skin. So if you're looking to mix it up a bit, this is definitely something I'd turn to. Again, Riku does a great job using clean shapes and stacked panels. Honestly, I feel like his style is becoming iconic. For those into details, you can literally spot one of his helmets from a mile away, and I can't wait to see everything he's got coming up, especially that Oberon helmet he's got waiting for approval. Now, with all of that out of the way, we can finally take a look at some of the skins that have been released. Okay, so before we get started, I need to point out two absolutely amazing skins that I didn't pick up. Both of these are from Valkyr, and they are the battle damage skins. He's got one for Frost and one for Rhino. Now, the reason I'm featuring them is the fact that they are absolutely gorgeous and have some of the most intricate weathering and energy effects out of all of the TennoGen skins. If you take a look at the Rhino one, it literally blows me away. However, when it comes to what I want to bring into battle, I prefer much more polished things. Like, I don't think I could ever do any weathering effects on my Gundam models because I want them to be all pristine and perfect. But it is undeniable that these are amazing works of art, so if you're into being a little roughed up, this is definitely something to consider. And be sure you keep an eye out on Valkyr because he's got a battle damage chroma skin that is up for approval that looks absolutely amazing as well. You never know, I may end up caving and just buying all of them at once. Now let us begin with one of my favorite designers of the bunch, Hitsu-san and his Caduto Excalibur Skin. Now while this frame is currently looking a bit matte due to a missing texture map, which I am sure that they will get to patching very soon, even with this hiccup it is looking absolutely mind-blowing. And can we all say a quick fuck you Hitsu-san for being so talented? From the textures that run along the shoulders, the iconic Hitsu-san, what the fuck even is that? Like the wave pattern that he's done on several of his frames, the awesome use of PBR all the way to that insane helmet. Now you can have a sick ponytail without having to play Ash, and that makes me happier than anything. The only thing that kind of freaks me out is the fact that it kind of looks like he has a mouth. But you know, if you're into things with mouths, you can pick this one up for $6.99. Shifting gears, we're going to take a look at an entire series now. The Graxx lines of skins from Faven_PS definitely has had some surprises in it. Now, starting with my favorite of the bunch, the Valkyr Graxx skin. If I'm going to be honest with you, I was mentally talking so much shit about how stupid this thing looked when I saw it on screen for the first time. The colors looked crazy and the pattern was just doing too much. But of course, you know, I had to try it out first, and don't I look stupid as fuck. A couple color tweaks and damn, it just looks plain sexy. And for those of you who wonder why I buy things that I'm not sure if I'm gonna like, it's because of skins like this. If you like it too, you can pick it up for $6.99. And continuing with things that I just thought were so dumb is the Mirage Graxx skin that I picked up for $4.99. And look how foolish I was because this thing turned out beautifully. Weird fucking helmet and all. Honestly, when I look at it, it has this amazing juxtaposition of grungy Grenier metal and this thick, almost silky fabric. Just goes to show that with some of these skins, you gotta hit them with the recolor before you really judge them. This right here is definitely appearance slot A material. Now next up is the Excalibur Graxx skin. This one didn't impress me as much. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love all of the strappy fabricy bits, however, it definitely did the one thing that peeves me, which is when one color selector governs more than one color section on the body, especially when one of those colors is a cool tone slightly greenish gray, and the other one is a warm rusty brown. Now, I understand that sometimes this isn't a thing that can be prevented, but it does hinder customization. However, on the bright side, this does come with two helmets, the Graxx helmet and the Excalibur Graxx helmet, all for $6.99. Alrighty, so the next two definitely fall into the category of those damn Prime editions done fucked you up, bro. Of course, this has nothing to do with the creators themselves, as we know Faven_PS is a goddamn master of fabrics. It's just that those Prime models done fucked up some of their shit. And because of the fact that some of us aren't willing to give up our primes, we're gonna have to put up with some funky models. So the first culprit is Rhino Prime in the Graxx skin. Instantly I am triggered because the high polished PBR metallic is set on the same color selector as the matte grid right above his stomach. Now I'm sure this would look better if I didn't insist on rose golding everything, but it's a hard habit for me to break. In addition, the overall base of the armor, which is on a separate selector, actually dictates the intensity of the way that tone is applied, so it's this constant juggling act. In addition, the Prime shoulder plates and hip guards are a completely different texture, and applies a secondary tone in a way that I don't think Faven intended. This is actually the skin that I spent the most time trying to get customized appropriately. However, let's give credit where credit is due. When you turn this baby around, you can see Faven's mastery at work. The way the metals mix with the fabric, all of his strappy goodness, and his amazing talent with texture. So if you're willing to take on the Rhino Prime coloration challenge, you can pick him up for $4.99. Now, next up on the list of Prime's done fucked you up, bro, is the Volt Graxx skin. Now, as you can tell, the big big offenders in this are the shoulder pads, which you can make go away by the use of a different shoulder accessory, and his knee pads, which unfortunately are there to stay. Now, the big reason it does look off-kilter is because the helmet's exhaust pipes are circular and feature a dotted texture, while the rest of the metallics are beveled and triangular. Now, a majority of people don't give two shits about that fact, but for those that do, there is the option of putting on the Volt Prime helmet just to marry the whole thing, which does look pretty solid, but is a bit of a pity since the Graxx helmet does look awesome. Now, ignoring all of that hullabaloo, this is a great example of Faven's mastery of fabric, and also good taste. One of my favorite things about this series is the fact that Faven never goes overboard. Yes, it's Grineer, but it's Grineer done classy. If you like this specific model, it is available in the Steam Workshop for $6.99. Alrighty, so last but not least is Prosthetison's Athena skin for Nyx. Now, I'm showing this absolutely gorgeous skin to you using the classic Nyx because guess what? This also falls into the Prime's done fucked you up, bro category of skins. Now, I honestly don't think it really quote-unquote fucked up the skin. However, it does give a substantially different look than the original does. See, Prosthetison is amazing at etching and lining work, as he showed us on his Nova Device skin and his Mad Kanata skin. But unfortunately, the Nyx Prime paneling does cover a good chunk of it up. Regardless, the skin itself looks absolutely amazing. I love the energy detailing on the thighs and shoulders, as well as the intricacy of the back. My only complaint is that I wish that some of the metallic sections on the helmet were a bit stronger in order to unify the piece. So if you're only planning on using Nyx for her new Assimilate augment and really couldn't give two craps about her defensive stats, feel free to pick this one up for $6.99 American. Alrighty, so that about does it for the items that I wanted to highlight in this round of TennoGen. But as always, don't let me dictate what you love. Go and explore and take a look at what's out there for yourself, because as we know, being dressed to kill has nothing to do with what I say looks good, but rather what it makes you feel when you're wearing it. Now, as a bit of self-promo before I hit the road, the next round of TennoGen is coming up and my collaborative work with Hitsu-san is up for your consideration. So if you like it, definitely give it a thumbs up and toss it a favorite, as I would absolutely love to see it in game. So thank you all for watching another episode of Dressed to Kill. I would strongly suggest you check out my previous 2 rounds where I blow a big wad of cash on TennoGen items. There's a ton of stuff in there and you never know, you may find something that you might have missed. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay drop dead gorgeous. What are you still doing here? You waiting for some direction on where to find the next set of glyphs? Because I already dropped you a lead. There's a total of 15 of them waiting there for you. Just keep in mind, this time you'll have to put together the pieces. And as always, be kind to one another and limit yourself one per viewer.